We're beginning with this week, week 6, the 14th chapter of our textbook. And we're beginning a new subject, third declension nouns. Third declension nouns are a very large group of nouns in New Testament Greek, probably more than we have in the second declension, which we learned first in chapters 3 and 4, and we have added words since then. These are words which end in os, logos, or paideon, masculine and neuter nouns. Then we learn first declension nouns. These are nouns that end usually either in eta, as in arche, here in your list, or eirene, peace, or are alpha pure nouns like oikia, and there are a couple of exceptions that end in alpha that are not alpha pure, such as doxa and thalassa, the word for sea, or ocean, or lake. But these nouns and their endings are fairly easy to learn, first and second declension. The third declension nouns actually are also not so difficult to learn with their endings, if you learn a basic pattern which our textbook author has given to us by memorizing the endings in the order which he gives them. Most textbook authors use the pattern nominative, genitive, dative, accusative. Our textbook author uses the pattern nominative, accusative, genitive, dative. And by doing that, when we now come to the third declension, we find this basic pattern for the singular and plural. If we memorize sa, os, si, es, as, on, sen. Again, sa, os, si, es, as, on, sen. If you cannot see the cursor, my mouse, it is pointing to the endings in the third column below the words basic pattern for the singular and then the plural. Sa, which is sigma plus alpha, sa, os, si, es, as, on, sen. If we learn this pattern, then we can easily learn the endings for the third declension nouns. We are looking this week only at section 14.1, the first section of chapter 14. So we're only looking at the masculine and feminine third declension nouns, which are actually more, we could say, regular in their form than the neuter ones that we will look at next week in week 7. Week 6, we have, for example, the masculine noun, ha. Notice by giving us the article never changes, even if it's in the second declension. And the feminine article, he, there's only one feminine article, he, and there's only one masculine article, ha, and only one neuter article, ta. We notice that this word for foot, pous, is masculine, ha, but the genitive is podos. And in the vocabulary, we will now always give the nominative and the genitive singular, pous, podos, and the article ha. And this will also give us a second thing that is important that we need, and that is the stem, the main stem for to build the endings of the other cases outside of the nominative. The nominative singular is pus, and notice the sigma. The sigma is here in brackets because many words do not have sigma at the end in the nominative singular, but many do. So it is not so consistent, and therefore he puts it in brackets, but it is helpful to know. Notice all of these words end in sigma: pus, elpis, the word for hope, charis, the word for grace. They all end in sigma. So sigma is very common, especially with masculine and feminine third declension nouns. Some are masculine, ha, some are feminine, he. Notice that we give the information nominative singular, genitive singular, and the article. Elpis, elpidos, he. Charis, charitos, he. The first word, pus, is masculine, elpis is feminine, charis, grace, is feminine. And we need to remember that. We need to know also the genitive singular, because it is from the genitive singular, from this stem, pod, not from pus, but from pod, that the rest of the endings will be built. For example, pus, and we have podos here, the genitive singular, but the accusative singular is poda, and the dative singular, podi. The plural, nominative plural, will be podes. The nominative accusative plural will be podos. The genitive plural will be podon, and the the dative plural will be posin. In that case, the delta drops out when you have sin. But this is the first and main information we need to realize about the third declension masculine and feminine nouns. That they are built according, number one, they are built according to the basic pattern of sa ossi es as un sin. This will give us the nominative, the accusative, the genitive, and the dative singular, and then it will give us the plural for these same cases in the third declension. Sa ossi es as un sin. So our words will be, for example, foot, the foot, ha, pus, with sigma. But if it's the direct object in the singular, ton, poda. Ton, because it's the masculine and accusative singular. It's a masculine word, accusative singular, so the article is ton. The masculine accusative singular of the word pus is poda. Ton, poda. The genitive, tu, podos. And the dative, to, with iota subscript, the foot, to the foot, for the foot, to, podi. We just have to get used to this pattern, sa ossi es as un sin. This is the first, we have to get used to that pattern, and secondly, we have to realize that the genitive gives us the main stem from which we build most of the other case endings. Not the nominative case, but the genitive singular case will give us the main stem, pod. Notice os with the genitive singular, paudos. Paudos is the genitive singular, and therefore in the vocabulary we will have the genitive singular, which will give us the main stem that we will use in forming most of the endings, perhaps all of the endings, of the third declension words. So from this first part, this first video, just take this knowledge. First of all, we need sa osi es as on sen to give the basic pattern of the endings. And secondly, we need to know the genitive singular, and perhaps we should say thirdly, we need to know the article. Is what gender is this word, because we can't tell. It isn't like first or second declension nouns, pus or elpis or charis. We don't know. We have to know the gender. So, but if from these three things, the nominative singular and the genitive singular and the article, we can build the endings of all of the third declension Greek nouns. This is the first video segment, and we will continue this lesson for week 6 in our second video lesson.